You may not like it, but Becky Lynch is right. In today's video, we're going to be discussing a very interesting interview that Becky Lynch did with ET Now regarding her current WWE status. Okay, so she acknowledges her WWE return. She acknowledges where she's at today, and she acknowledges that she is literally competing for the women's IC title at Money in the Bank with Lyra Valkyria. Now, regardless of that result, I think it's important to note that Becky Lynch is on the forefront of where WWE and its direction is going under the TKO era, and especially in the women's division. You can knock Becky Lynch for a lot of things. You may not be the biggest Becky Lynch fan in the world, but you have to give her credit of consistently trying to evolve herself and her character, changing things up, seeing what works, and pivoting when things don't work out. And when Becky Lynch returned at WrestleMania after being gone since May of 2024, basically attacking Bayley, replacing her in a women's tag team title match, and winning said tag team titles with Lyra Valkyria over Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Well, it set the internet a storm because there was a lot of controversy. People thought Bayley got screwed over and Becky took her spot. But now that we see where all the dominoes have fallen, with Becky Lynch turning heel after losing the women's tag team titles with Lyra Valkyria, attacking Lyra Valkyria, and entering into a program with Lyra Valkyria, it all makes sense. It was just part of the plan, part of the storyline, and part of the direction in which WWE and Becky Lynch wanted to go. You may not like it, I may not like it, but that was the direction. Now that we've seen how everything plays out, it works out well. Becky Lynch did a recent interview with ET News or ET Now and was giving, and keep in mind this was in full character, but I think it speaks volumes to her mindset and her character direction. Okay, so just keep that in mind when I read these quotes. So Becky Lynch, she was asked what brought her back to WWE after a long absence. Okay, and this is what she had to say. She said, yeah, the money. The money brought me back. The money and the fame. The money and the fame and the hunger, the power, and the desire to take away opportunities from everyone else. All the women on the roster. I want to hold them down. I want to take everything for myself because I'm the best to ever do it. And it's not just me saying it. No, Sports Illustrated says it. ET says it. ET says it because I'm actually the greatest to ever do it. And that's not hyperbole. It's not just me saying it. Everyone's saying it. It's undisputed. It's a fact. I'm the greatest. I make everyone better. So, a lot to break down here, right? Becky Lynch talking about how the money and the fame, the hunger, the power, and the desire to take away opportunities from everyone else. Clearly, that was in character. That was in storyline, right? She has money. She doesn't need any more power. Her legacy is set. Taking away opportunities from everyone else, I highly doubt, regardless of the online speculation, right? In terms of wanting to hold them down, once again, in character, in storyline, bringing up the fact that these fans really do believe that she's taking away opportunities from everyone else. And in fact, I think she's elevating others. She's elevating Lyra Valkyria. Lyra has not ever been this more well-known, popular, given such a strong push up until now in her WWE career. Okay. Her saying that she is the greatest to ever do it, I don't think that's in character. I don't think that's in storyline. I think that she thinks she's the greatest to ever do it in terms of being a female star. And her adding that she's the greatest because she makes everyone better. Yeah, that's true. That's factual, right? I recently talked about this, but if you look at the way that Becky Lynch has been able to rise in this company, it's truly remarkable what she's been able to do. If you look at Becky Lynch, she has been the women's GOAT for the last few years. Okay. And I was thinking about this because for the longest time, I always thought of Paige Trish Stratus as the GOAT. She's the pioneer. She set the table for what we see women's wrestling as. Charlotte Flair will eventually surpass her, if not already. But then I was thinking, you know what? I think I'm wrong on that. I think I am because if you look at Charlotte Flair, does she have the respect of everyone? No. And I think you need to have the respect of that. And I think there's a big difference between respect and likability. You can respect someone, but not like them. But if you don't have the respect of everyone, then I don't think you can be considered the GOAT, right? Like most people would say, okay, is Hulk Hogan the greatest of all time? Yeah, probably. I don't like him, but probably, right? Is Ric Flair the greatest of all time? Maybe, but I don't like him, right? Charlotte Flair cannot be the women's GOAT. Becky Lynch has to be the women's GOAT, because if you look at the way that WWE used her, think about all the accomplishments, but think about the moments in which sets her apart from everyone else, right? Charlotte Flair is a multiple time women's champion. She was part of the first ever women's WrestleMania main event, just alongside Becky Lynch. Both have headlined pay-per-view events. Both have had classic matches, a classic programs, a classic rivalries. What sets Becky Lynch apart from Charlotte? Well, I think she does it in a few different ways. I think in order to be considered the GOAT, you have to check off some of those boxes. Some of those boxes in which I just mentioned. But I also think you have to check off some of the boxes that I didn't mention. Talking about how can you elevate others? Did you bring people up along the way, or did you shove them down? I don't think many people would consider Charlotte Flair making stars. Okay? I think people would with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch was also associated with some of the biggest names in the history of the wrestling business by doing segments on television, whether in the ring or backstage. I'm talking about The Rock, Steve Austin, John Cena, right? All of those characters give a shine off in Becky Lynch. But also it tells you WWE sees Becky Lynch in that same regard, right? They see her in the same light as a Steve Austin or a Rock or a John Cena. So she's going to be associated with him, and she's going to be put into segments with them. That's notable. That's something that you have to keep in mind. And in my opinion, those two things, her elevating people and her being seen in the same light, not only in the fans' eyes, but also the company's eyes, speaks volumes to where they see her, where they want to see where she can go and further elevate the company, her legacy, the roster, the prestige, everything that comes along with that, right? That speaks volumes. So Becky Lynch is 100% right here. You may not like it, but she's 100% right here. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments here below. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, comment down below. And we'll see what the future holds for one Becky Lynch. It will be very, very interesting to see what the rest of 2025 looks like for Becky Lynch.